So one thing to know about Herbert is that he has a huge amount of experience in providing both marketing and advertising guidance, support, advice for a number of language schools for a number of years. But even before that, Herbert also had a lot of experience even in language schools themselves, so knows them inside and out. So we're very lucky to have Herbert. If you're listening in and don't know myself, my name is Alex Asher. I'm the CEO of LearnCube, and we specialize in creating solutions for language schools, in particular for physical language schools looking to transition online from a virtual classroom to an online school. And we're doing these webinars because we think it is going to help more schools be more successful.
No pressure. So my name's Zach. I am just in really the initial stages of setting up my own online English school.
Great.
I've run a couple of these schools in the past throughout the world, but like I've never done it for myself. So this is like the next step for me, really. And now I'm just kind of, obviously, as an online school, my main outreach is digital marketing, or as far as I'm aware is digital marketing. So I'm just trying to get as much information in regards to how to get those students.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, Zachary. And is there one particular aspect of digital marketing that you feel would be most helpful, whether it be at the start of the funnel in terms of reaching out, or you've got some people coming to your website but you're unsure? Is there one part that
I think it's the initial stages. Thankfully, like if they are sending me a message or we're speaking online, I know I can help them.
Cool.
But it's just about reaching them initially, I think.
Okay, so reach out, no problem. Christopher, are you there? And no problem if you don't want to talk. You can also talk through the chat as well. Otherwise, Marie, you are also on board.
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
So yeah, I actually work in a company who distributes e-learning platform. For example, Moodle. I don't know if you know
Sure.
it.
Yes, of course. Mm-hmm.
And actually, yes, I reached this video conference to know how to reach prospect with marketing digital.
Okay.
So actually, I'm a sales representative. So I mainly do phone call and email, but actually it doesn't work really well to reach new customers. So I want to know what we can do with marketing.
Got it.
And so, Marie, I assume that it's more B2B, business to business, rather than B2C?
Yes, it's B2B.
Perfect. Great. Can definitely help you out there.
Okay, and Christopher, if you still, no problem, but if you did have any kind of questions or areas, then you can either put that in the chat or speak away. Now, Herbert, just while we're waiting for Christopher maybe to put his thoughts together,
Sure.
It seems like we've got, it's certainly at the top end of the funnel. How do we reach out and find new people? We've got Marie, who's coming from a B2B angle. How do we reach out there? And then Zachary, who actually, again, goes, I think, possibly to the areas you know best, and sounds like a B2C business. How you might be looking to reach out there. Is there anything that you'd like to is there anything that, in terms of structure, that you'd like to put together?
No, I'd like to tackle, I guess, both situations head on, and I think everyone can get a little bit out of both situations. It's great that we have a B2C example and more of a B2B. Zach, I assume that your school is a B2C online school. Please tell us otherwise. And that you're starting off by yourself. So it's just yourself as the teacher. I also assume that you don't have a team of teachers right now. Obviously, that's what you want to have in the future. So when you're starting out, with a brand new school, there are obviously so many different directions you can go in terms of marketing it. What I have found for, and what has really worked for one person language schools before is the owner or the yourself being the face of the language school. I think that is extremely important because you really cut out you really stick out from the competition of a lot of faceless corporate language schools that are there online, and that's how you can really compete against these huge online language schools. Is if you are the face of the school and you know your niche very well. I don't know whether you're targeting maybe children or business professionals or some certain segment of the English learning industry. I would recommend it. I mean, it's great to be a one-stop shop for everything, but in order to generate leads and customers, being a one-stop shop, you do really need a very solid marketing plan and quite a bit of money in order to really get the word out. But if you know that, okay, I'm only going to teach English to kids, for example, between, I don't know, 6 and 10 years old, then you have a clear picture of who your target audience is. That would be the parents, and then you can craft your messages really around them. Who are these parents? Why why do their kids need to learn English right now, and why is it best to learn with me, Zach? Because I have lots of experience, and where to start is obviously a good website. It doesn't need to be a super flashy website at the beginning. It just needs to be a one-pager with your offer and about you. And I would invest your time at the start in building your social presence. That means making sure that you're active on the social media platforms that your target audience is active on, whether that be Facebook or Instagram, and possibly also YouTube. Maybe it's if you're targeting business professionals, then they will probably more likely be on LinkedIn. So making sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to scratch and that you're posting quite regularly on topics that relate to these business professionals learning English. So making sure that you know your target audience inside and out, where they are hanging out online, and then investing time at the start to really build that presence. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on ads from the get-go without having some sort of foundation first. It's very difficult. I mean, you can do it, but you need a lot of budget to be able to build a presence through paid channels. The organic way is always best when you are starting off.
Right.
Yeah.
Zachary, does that help you in terms of what you were your main questions or main ideas?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I suppose I'm in a bit of a different position. I do have a team of teachers.
Oh, okay.
I've been, thankfully I've been, because I've been traveling and working for quite a long time, it's just over the years I've just accumulated people that are like, I'll work for you, which has been really nice, and really great teachers. My target niche is kind of IELTS exam preparation. So those university students that are really struggling to get into either European, UK or US universities. But yes, the ads, I fully understand. The reason at the minute that I'm having a bit of an issue with the ads campaign is I know loads of places in the world that I've worked that have a high demand, but I obviously can't just put ads in all of those places. I'm not a millionaire. So
Exactly.
It's just really deciding the best route for that.
The best route is to focus on the audience you know best. So maybe it is a certain country or a certain region where you already have a presence or you already have experience and built a reputation there, and then leveraging that at the start.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
IELTS is a great niche to be in, by the way. I know some very successful IELTS schools that just focus on IELTS preparation or exam preparation, and they're doing very well with paid ads.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you.
But again, I will tell you why they're successful, because they are the face of their company. They're offering a lot of value up front. So they are offering free workshops, free mini courses on how to achieve a level 7 or whatever it is in your IELTS. Writing tips, speaking tips on how to pass those different segments of the IELTS exam. So
amazing.
You'll be spending a lot of time on creating content and doing content marketing at the start. And then once that's kind of solid, then I would definitely look into investing into paid ads.
Amazing. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'll pop Zachary out and we'll bring Marie in. One thing I was just going to ask with that, Herbert, is it can often feel quite very slow to begin with to build that social media. And so have you found any ways to motivate owners to stick with it? Because it's not going to happen in a week. You might not see results for a couple of months potentially. So what would you say to owners that might otherwise feel, oh, this isn't going to work for me?
I know, and creating content can be a huge, laborious, and often, boring job. I'm sure you know as well, Alex. You pump out a lot of content, so it's blocking out days or like 4, 5, 6 hours just to get into content creation mode. Sure. and really just do 3, 4, 5 articles at once. That's what's worked for me. I don't know how you organize that, but I know you really need to kind of get into the groove of writing a blog post or recording a video, and you need to be in that frame of mind. And it's best to do it in one block. Yeah,
great advice.
And there are a lot of tools that you can use, a lot of free tools to automate that. Not the content creation, but distributing the content. Yeah. So once you've done the work, then you can use things like Hootsuite, etc., to post for you every second day or twice a week or whatever your timeline is.
That's right. And I think one other kind of tip there would be, is that it's not something I do as well, but I would love to do better, is to repurpose some of the content that you do. Exactly. And unfortunately, it takes just as long to do that sometimes. And it's painful because you want to do new content. But the reality is you've often got, you've got a golden egg there that you can reshape into these different formats and you will need to think about the environment that you're posting, because posting this, like, for example, this webinar, if you post a 40-minute webinar on Facebook, it's possibly going to get wasted compared to say,
no one's going to watch it
on YouTube. So you would have to cut out bits of that, and there is a time investment in doing that. But that's about knowing your audience, knowing where you're going to invest time, and to be fair, you've already done the hard work of getting the content together. So figuring out the best way of presenting that. This is great. Thank you, Herbert. Let's bring on Marie. I'm going to just allow her to talk. And what we're going to be looking at is B2B and how we might go and get more customers.
Exciting. As Marie already said, she's been trying to reach out to B2B prospects via phone, via email. I know that very well. I used to be in B2B sales myself for a language school. Cold calling is a nightmare. You never get the right person, and cold emailing is very difficult these days. So what has really worked, not only for myself, for my business, and also for B2B language schools, as well as e-learning platforms, I have also done this for e-learning platforms successfully, is generating leads through LinkedIn, whereby you really leverage your LinkedIn profile as basically like a sales page, a landing page. So, you know, the first step is to update your LinkedIn profile, and the counterintuitive thing is to make the profile not about you. It's not about you, where you went to university or what grades you got at school. It's about the prospect, your customer, your target audience, and how your service or your offer is solving their problem. And then framing it that way and positioning yourself as the solution to their problem. And once you have an updated profile, you have a nice profile picture, etc., then it is finding your target people, whether that be the language school owners or the head of departments at high schools or whatever that is, on LinkedIn, either through just the normal search, which is available on the free version. However, there is a cap on the free version. So at some stage, you will not be able to search for more leads. So once you get to that stage, I do highly recommend upgrading to Sales Navigator, because that gives you unlimited search volume, as well as a much more refined and detailed criteria search filter, where you can be very granular in terms of who you are targeting.
Okay, sorry.
Sure.
Yeah. Upgraded, you talk about upgraded my LinkedIn profile, for example, to Sales Navigator.
Yes.
To okay, then I can apply different filter to
your search
targets. Okay. Yes.
It's very powerful. It's much more powerful than the free version, and you can search or connect with people outside of your network, so outside of your second and third degree connections.
Okay, and it's only on LinkedIn. I don't have their email address or other contact details. It's only their LinkedIn.
So
exactly.
sometimes Marie, they do a profile does include the email, but typically not. What I've seen with LinkedIn is, I think 100% agree with Herbert's ideas of almost creating that as almost a landing page. So you're selling yourself without having to sell yourself. And then the second way of doing that was when is adding value, because then you've got basically it's your website and your social media for business put into that one place.
Again, okay, and should it be my personal profile or the profile of my company, for example?
Definitely your personal profile, because you are the person they're going to speak to at the end of the day. I mean, the goal of LinkedIn, of establishing a relationship and building a rapport with someone on LinkedIn, is to get to that meeting or get to that phone call for you to introduce the service. So it needs to be from you, from your personal account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And so when you do the search and you find the people you're looking for, then it is about firstly connecting with them. So you need to send them a connection request, and they need to accept that connection request. Once they accept that connection request, then it's about again, building a relationship slowly, and not going in the first message and saying, hey, I offer this, let's jump on a call. You shouldn't sell straight out the gate. Ask them a question, something relevant, maybe in terms of their, what types of e-learning they're using or platforms they're using, or are they having any challenges with XYZ? And so you kind of start off a conversation with them. You find out, you qualify them if they are even qualified for your product. And then once you have, after 2, 3, 4 messages, then you can say, hey, let's jump on a quick 15-minute call, or, meet on Zoom, so I can, see if we can help you out.
Okay, great.
And yeah, I mean, that has worked wonders for B2B businesses. e-learning platforms, even language schools that provide language services or language courses to companies, because the contact people you are looking for are on LinkedIn and are active on LinkedIn. And
Okay.
the next step of that is to post regularly on LinkedIn yourself through your profile. And this is, again, organic content. So you're taking time to really think about articles to write or something to repost that is relevant to your audience, and that's going to help them in their journey as a language school.
Okay, great. So the first step is to send them a question rather than a direct presentation of what I want to sell.
Exactly. Yes. Do not sell. Do not send them a PDF with your company presentation in the first message. You will get no replies. I mean, of course, you might get lucky with some people, but you really want to find out first if they are even looking for a solution, or if you can see any gaps in their, in the e-learning software or what they're using right now, and then, tell them how you can help them after finding out the information first.
We have a couple of other people on the line. We're just going to let them take a moment to ask questions if they need to. I think two of those may not be able to ask those questions. Herbert, is there anything more general that you've found? Maybe asking this, what is the number? Actually, we've got Tyson. Tyson.
Hi, Tyson,
Let's
again.
bring, Tyson, would you like to talk or ask a question? Yep, got a question. All right, let's get one last. So we are going to be finishing up in about 5 minutes. So we'll let this one be the last one. Tyson, would you like to talk?
Hey, can you hear me?
We sure
Yes.
can.
Hey.
Hey guys, good to see you again.
You too.
Absolutely.
So I guess my question is, I don't have any troubles with getting customers in the door, but what I would like, so I guess to explain, my school, we provide Japanese lessons in person and online, and we work with a fixed schedule, meaning you take a lesson with the same time, same time each week with the same teacher. Okay. And our students take, 1, 2, 3, some take 5 lessons a week.
Sure.
And I guess what I have found is that students who take 1 lesson a week, they usually don't have the willpower to self-study.
Sure.
So having people who study 2 to 3 times a week is ideal because they improve, but because they improve, they continue studying longer. And we run monthly contracts. So I guess I want to get more people to start. I want to encourage people to take 2 to 3 lessons a week as opposed to 1. And let's say, I don't want the sales process, or we do consultations, but I don't want it to be salesy. I want the person coming into the sales consultation thinking they want 2 to 3 lessons already.
Okay. Is anywhere on your website or in your marketing or during the sales consultation, do you maybe hint at the benefit of taking 2 to 3 lessons a week?
We mentioned that, so what I'm thinking, I would say we mentioned that it helps, but I'm thinking that we mentioned if you take 2 lessons a week, it'll take you this many weeks. If you take 3 lessons a week, it'll take you this many weeks to complete the textbook. I think if that might be the most effective.
I think so. Using specific numbers is usually a really good idea. So, complete level 1 in, 4 weeks, whatever it is. If you, have lessons 2 times a week or 3 times a week. People like to see, what the progression is going to be and have like a definite goal. And so being really specific with those numbers, if you do 2 lessons a week, you'll get to here in this space of time, or 3 lessons a week, whatever it is, can be really effective, as well using it in your ads as well.
Yeah, I would also add on top of that, Tyson, you might want to make your 2 to 3 lessons a week much more attractive than any other as well. So using price as an incentivizer can really help, and making sure that's your most popular plan as well is kind of a good way of kind of encouraging. You also might want to offer special offers on their first month at that 2 to 3 lesson a week frequency, because then it's easier to continue that on, as opposed to getting them with one and then trying to build up from that.
Those are some excellent ideas. And, I think, yeah, I think the point that I took away is how can I make that first, I would say, I think getting them in the door first, then they'll see the results because the lessons are good. And let's say,
and then they'll continue.
Them in the door first. Yeah, that's some good feedback, guys.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tyson. We are going to start wrapping up. Herbert, any last words of wisdom from you?
Any last words of wisdom? I think our previous webinars have a lot of words of wisdom.
They sure do.
Regards to specifics in terms of running ads, how to write ads, using photos and videos in ads. So I encourage people to go to LearnCube's YouTube site to view that webinar. I think most of the nuggets and actionable tips are there.
That's right. So if you're just listening in, or this is your first one, we have a channel on LearnCube. I'd really encourage you all to subscribe. The more that we can build subscriptions, the more we're going to be able to invest in resources just like this with Herbert. You're going to see some of Herbert and I, our webinars previously, and we've answered quite a number of exciting questions and very common questions and answers there. And we've got a channel called LearnCube University for language providers. So if you're in marketing or an owner or a manager, that's going to be the place for you. And we're going to be putting all of that great information there free for you on YouTube. If you would like to get in contact with Herbert, how can they contact you if they actually are like, you know what, this guy not only knows his stuff, but I think he could possibly manage it better than me? How would they do that? Would they get in touch with you on your website, Herbert?
Exactly. Everything's on my website, herbertgerzer.com, and they can organize time to have a call with me.
Great. So we'll leave you there, but thank you very much for joining us. Please join us again another week. We again are going to be providing this on our YouTube channel, so please subscribe. And if you haven't already tried LearnCube, please try it on our website, learncube.com. Thanks very much.